Hello. Welcome everybody to our back to normal, our regularly scheduled programming of the Coffee Run live, coming to you live and in person from my very fabulous office here in the land of Mildura. So what's really interesting is that I don't think some of you know exactly where I live, and it is the middle of nowhere. So I was trying to explain to some Americans over last week just exactly how far and how vast our country is. I know that it's kind of, hey Georgina, it's kind of like, hey Amanda. It's not kind of like, hey Amanda, it's kind of like this. It's really interesting how we get caught up and we just kind of like take it for granted. It just becomes how it is when we live in our own world. And then when something else comes into our awareness, we actually start to realize, well, oh shit, it's a whole lot different out there compared to perhaps what we originally thought. So I was explaining to one of my very lovely people this morning. I had a call at 9, which is 3 p.m. LA. We traveled back in time into Wednesday. It was Wednesday at 3 o'clock, and it was Thursday 9 o'clock here. So it's either like where I'm going back into the past or she's coming to the future, and it's all really very fun and fabulous. But it took me about 26 hours to actually get home. That's not including the long wait that I had at the airport. I'm going to tell you this trip, and then we'll get stuck into the healthy food pyramid. This trip, my ankles and my toes, my toes were like fat little sausages, and my ankles just went like, whoo. It's really interesting what a difference not being like Joe and I sat in the airport for quite a number of hours before we flew out. Just what a difference it makes, not like usually I'm moving and doing stuff pretty close to the departure. This time, not so much. So my body's just gone like, seems to be back to normal a bit more today, which, thank goodness. So now that we've got those concerns out of the way and we've traveled back in time and we're traveling into the future, let me tell you about this little thought that I had earlier today. Off the back of this conversation I had with a lady. So how many of you have heard that we have to niche or niche, right? You've got to choose we've got to choose an audience that we're going to talk to. We've got to know their demographics. We've got to know how old they are. We've got to know what they do for work. We've got to know all of this stuff, right? How many of you have thought that we needed to do that? I know I'm one of them, and it is a little bit, I will talk into that, but it's a little bit like the healthy food pyramid that was created in order for the wheat farmers to make money. So they were saying we had to eat all of the things, right? All of the things that gets produced. Hey, Tess. In order for all of this, in order for us to be healthy, and then we've got the dairy, and then we've got everything else, right? So I'm not saying that I am saying that there's not this, I think what we've learned now is that things evolve and change, right? What served people back then doesn't necessarily serve us now. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on in the world of marketing that is actually the same. So niching and niching. Same thing, just sound different depending on where you're from. The thing with niching is that it really forces you to kind of go, okay, I can only talk to people who are 35 years old, who have got 2 children, who are stressed out, who want to lose 10 kilos or 10 pounds, right? And I'm not saying that that's not a bad thing, but it leaves a whole lot of stuff unexplorable. And for most people, when we say you have to just focus on like one person, one audience, one particular person, instead of trying to create, and I understand why it was originally done. It was originally being done in order to make your marketing easier, in order to make your conversations easier, and I still agree with that. I think the way it's been done is like we can do things better now. So the first thing that I got this lovely, beautiful lady to do, I said, okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to just pretend that there are no limits, no boundaries, nothing that could possibly get in the way of you working with the kinds of people that you want to work with. Who are they and what are they like? So maybe it is women who have got, 2 children and they're 35, but then what more is it about them? Are they resourceful? Are they unresourceful? Are they happy? Are they sad? Are they disconcerted? Are they passionate? Are they motivated? Are they inspired? What is it about them? If I was to say to you, please describe yourself. And you describe yourself as however old you are, with however many children you do or don't have, your marital situation, and where you live. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. That gives us 5 points that we can work from. But then what about the rest of you? What about all of those intricacies? What about the things that are kind of quirky and kooky about you? What are those things that are banal and boring about you? What are the things that you do for fun? What are the things that you do for joy and passion and rapture and all of these things? What gets you really fucking excited? What bores the shit out of you? Right, so the thing that seems to have been neglected in that piece of the training and the teaching is that people are trying to market to people who are one-dimensional drones, right? For the most part, they're not actually getting into the very essence of the people. And most of the time, from what I've seen and what I've talked about and what I've coached on time and time again, is that people start bringing these kinds of people in, and they're just I don't really even like them. I don't really want to talk to them. I've done the niching activity wrong. I've gone and done all of this stuff. I've invested so much time, and 6 months on, I'm attracting people I don't like, doing work I don't like to do. And I'm just really, I'm really not enjoying it. So I think the very first thing that you need to do whenever anyone says, well, you need to do this, is just kind of come back and go, okay, so is it really right? Is this really true? Is it really true for me? The second thing that I'm particularly vocal about is that you guys have to do your own social media. You can't outsource you can outsource your content creation. I think you're freaking crazy if you do. The way that I explained it on the weekend is that if you are out there and let's say that I'm very time poor. I'm not time poor. I've got all the time in my world that I could possibly want and need. I've built my business and my life in that way on purpose. But let's pretend that you're really time poor. Let's pretend that you're working with clients all the time, and the last thing that you want to be doing is creating content. And so you hire someone to create your content for you. And I see ads for this all the time, and it pisses me off. So let's say that you go do that, and your person says, oh, I just need a brief. And you say, I work with women 35 years old who've got 2 children who are 10 pounds, 10 kilos overweight. These are the people who I really want to be working with. And your content creator goes, okay, great, let's go do some stuff. And they start marketing, and that's going to attract a certain kind of person in, right? Now, if they're going out there saying stuff as if it's you, they are essentially lying to your audience. You are lying to your audience, because most of the time that is not the stuff that you've said. It is most likely not in the way all the time that you would actually say it. So you're actually doing your audience, you're creating a relationship based on lies right from the get-go. And I think that's real, we're better than that, right? So one of the things that I've said that you've really got to be looking at doing is creating one piece of content and using that in 10 different ways, right? So yes, you need to invest time in your own social media. Yes, you need to invest time in your own marketing, but I know that you are an ethical person who is really wanting to create something that's really powerful, that has longevity, that is efficient and effective, and is going to bring in the people that you want to work with. They're doing the work that you love in a way that you want to do it, right? So you can't do that by starting out by lying to them. So you've got to create time and space in your calendar and your schedule for you to be able to do this. So here's the other thing that tends to come up. Oh, but I just don't have the time to do that. Well, if I said to you, there is $1 million, like if you were so incredibly busy and I said there's $1 million waiting for you at the corner store, but you've got to go and get it between the hours of 12 and 12:15, you would do whatever it took. You would reschedule your stuff. You would change your priorities. You would make some decisions about going to that corner store and going and collecting your $1 million. This is how important you creating your content is, right? So I don't know who made up the fact that we should outsource everything. There are some things that we should outsource and there are some things that we should absolutely not. And creating content is one of them. You can hire, excuse me. I sneezed last night in the kitchen, not over the dinner. But while we were in the kitchen, and I said to my husband, I didn't get into the house last night. until about 10 to 6 p.m., like 5:50 p.m. And then we had to go and take my daughter to netball. And I've sneezed in the kitchen. I've got, oh my God, I must be allergic to being home. That didn't go down very well. I love being home. I do love being home. I also very much love being away. So, anywho, completely lost my train of thought. Where I'm going with this is that if you've tried things and they haven't worked for you, chances are is that you haven't been given the creative license to try and make things work for you in a way that is going to work for you, right? So if someone says you have to use a black Sharpie to go and do the things, okay, that's great, but why? And is that really true for me, or can I actually use a blue one, right? We know that if somebody says you've got to press this button to turn on your computer, you know, that's not an alignment thing. That is just a thing. You've got to press that button to turn on your computer. But when it comes to you building things in the way that you want, doing things in the way that you want, working with people in the way that you want, and in the way you want to do it, you get to make up the motherfucking rules. All right. So that is just the biggest thing that I can say to you today is that you get to make up the rules. Just because it's worked for somebody sometime doesn't mean that's the way it always has to be for you. It doesn't mean like don't be coachable. Obviously, you've got to be coachable. You've got to be teachable. You've got to be open to exploring it, but just don't take it as that die-hard thing. This is why I'm such a huge fan of frameworks. You work within a framework rather than within a rule system, because a framework then can be adaptable to you, right? Whereas if you've got a system, like you've got to follow the ones and the zeros and things like that. So that is why marketing can be like the healthy food pyramid. Sometimes it just needs to be put in the bin because it no longer serves us. So there you go, my friends. Now, I also wanted to talk with you a little bit about Wake Up and Shake Up Your Shit that's starting tomorrow morning. I'm really, really excited about it. So there's a couple of things I want to share with you. We've got Wake Up and Shake Up Your Shit, 21 days to finding your purpose, unleashing it and making it happen, because life waits for nobody. So here are some things that we're going to be doing. We are going to be working through your why. We're going to be making sure that you have got an absolute clean, clear slate so that you can move forward and do the things that you want to do. We're going to be expanding everything, and then we're going to look at ways that we can actually take the ripple effect and take that on out there. So yeah, we're doing some goal setting, we're working out your why, we are going through releasing anything that is not actually serving us. We're looking at how to create and build your legacy. And from everything that I've seen, and it's been really, you know, I love being in the room with people, and it was made really apparent on the weekend and throughout the course of last week actually, that the kinds of people that are coming into my world these days are people who are really in this for the long game. You know, it's not just like, oh, I'm going to go and start an online business because that's how I'm going to go and make $1 squillion. The lady I was talking about today, her absolute purpose is to help people. Let me read it out because it was really freaking amazing. She says, helping people break through the pattern of bad and toxic relationships. You know, she's been a therapist for years. She's been a coach for a long time. And she's just like, you know what? All of these people have said all these things, and I'm just really freaking confused. But she wants to help so many people. And everybody that I've come across, everyone that I've come across, you're not just in it for the short game. Yes, you need to make money in the short term, but you're also looking at actually, you know, doing really, really big things. And for me, that's where that song, that Burn Brighter Than the Sun, just kind of makes me feel like it's like, you know, we've all got this mission, whether you can articulate it or not, but we all want more. We all want more impact. We all want more people to help. We all want, you know, just more of all of that really good stuff. And so really what Wake Up and Shake Up Your Shit is all about is that. We're also going to be journaling. How many of you, I know I've done this, like I know that I have to do that. And then you get to the end of the day and it's like, oh my God, I know I have to do that, but I just push it off. You push it out. Well, we're going to be doing things like journaling on the call. We're going to be doing work on the call. So that way there's no reason and there's no excuse for you not creating what it is that you want. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about, and if you want to join that, that's really cool. That would be really amazing. The link is www.nicolamoras.com.au/wake up, because why not? Without any spaces. The other thing that I'm going to chat to you about, two more things, is we've got the Visible Live National Tour happening, and we are starting as of Sunday week, launching out in Melbourne. There are still tickets available for each of the cities, so make sure you jump on that. Again, I think the thing that I've been really reminded of over the last couple of weeks has been the importance of actually, getting in the room and being immersed. Because when you're immersed and you don't have all of these other distractions going on, then you can feel empowered to take steps forward, right? And I think that's really, really cool. And I think the other thing though is that so many people get so worried and so concerned about putting themselves out there because you've got so many ideas. There are so many things that you can talk about. There are so many things going on. So if you really want to have a really kick-ass, clear, powerful way for you to be able to market yourself in 2020 and get your ass into the room next month. There is, if you can't make it to a capital city, then that's totally cool. There is a virtual one happening as well, a virtual 2-day event, which will be the exact same content. It'll still be an immersion. It'll just be run live and virtually as if we were actually in the room. So you'll see that option on the registration page. And that is www.nicolamoras.com.au/rockstar, because I think that's really cool. The other thing that I was going to talk to you about, and maybe you don't feel like you know me well enough yet to part with your cold, hard cash, and that's totally fine, and your energy and your time and everything else like that. So tomorrow morning, for the first time in like 6 months or 7 months, let me see, I'm pretty sure it's at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. I'm running a pop-up webinar, and I'm going to actually go through exactly the content that I went through on the weekend at the event that I spoke at on the weekend. And that's just going to help you to really see the importance of you doing things in the way that and work within the framework that I think you should actually do them in. So I am going to pop those links in there. Now, if you have questions about anything, and I mean anything in relation to obviously your business, in relation to marketing, in relation to mindset, in relation to purpose, in relation to action taking, and in relation to anything, please make sure you either post them below here and let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to put this in here. Starts tomorrow. This is where I needed my person to be on the go and have it all ready, right? And that is not, I don't have a person yet. If anybody knows a really badass personal assistant that really wants a job but lives in Mildura, please introduce them to me, because I very badly need someone to help me. And my daughter keeps telling me she'll do it, and then she doesn't do it. And it's just really annoying. So those links, you will see them in there. Those links are up there and ready for you to partake in more Nicola goodness, or not. Totally up to you. Otherwise, I'm going to set you free about your day. Be really mindful about the way that you approach certain things, and make sure that it's not creating rigidity. Make sure that it's not blocking and stemming the flow of creativity within your world, within what it is that you're doing. And remember, the world is ready for your brand of awesomeness. I can't wait to see what you create. I hope to see you tomorrow morning on the webinar, and I can't wait to chat with you about all the things that you're doing. All right, everyone, have an amazing day. Take care and goodbye.